Hello everybody, welcome to a World of Warship Blitz video, and today is crate opening day. Well, not really. So where we've got to today is I've saved up about 29 keys and I have two tier 5 and tier 6 premium ships remaining. So if you can have a look at the under that crate, there is either an October Revolution, a Gallant, or 5,000 gold. So I'm opening the October Revolution crates because basically I want the gold. Now if I'm lucky, I'll get the October Revolution and have keys left over to wait for the Gallant, and then I can cash that in for the gold. If I'm unlucky, I'll get nothing, and then I'll just have to use the crate and see what I get, and hopefully it is the Gallant and not the October Revolution. That would be the second best outcome. The worst outcome, of course, is to spend all these keys, not get the October Revolution here, and get the October Revolution in the crate. Not that I really hate the October Revolution, it's just that I want the Gallant. And as you can see, I'm getting an awful lot of carrier blueprints, airplane blueprints. And the reason is that I sell down all the blueprints that I definitely know that I'm not going to need, which is carrier plane blueprints, which means that when I'm opening these crates, I'm getting an absolute propensity of these absolutely useless airplane blueprints, unless the British carrier line comes out at some point in the far distant future. Of course, by then I'd probably be able to earn enough back. Anyway, we're most of our way through our keys, and so if starting with 29, we're now down to 14, and yeah, it's not looking too good. So I can't complain because I got the Atlanta with basically a couple of key, with a couple of keys. The Huanghui and the Anshan were very quick on keys. So the last time I got about 20 keys, I failed to get the Gallant. So and I've spent a few trying to get the Hood. So all in all, I can't complain. I'd like to get. It would have been great to have got the October Revolution with some keys left over and perhaps hold out a hope for the Gallant, but as it turns out, we are not going to be getting there by the looks of it, unless it is this one, which, having recorded this video earlier, I can tell you it's not. So, only one thing to do, hope for the best. And, well, that's pretty good. That's second best. So let's go and have a look at so all these, what I've been doing is I've been swapping out all the missions, so all the missions are within basically one battle of being one. Actually, what I'll do is I'll remind myself to reset those, so I can basically get the next crate, well, pretty much straight away. Okay, here's the Gallant. First thing we'll do is we'll whack some historical camo on it, because I pretty much whack historical camo onto any premium I get except for the Helena, where I've got a choice to make, and I'm not really too fussed on the ship. What am I going to do here? Go have a look at some stats, see what the ship's worth. We'll definitely put a legendary commander in it for its first battle. Why not? That means you've got a destroyer running around there with IFHE, but anyway, go figure. That's the way premiums work. Normal destroyer loadout is some high-grade ore, coal-grade coal, refined diesel, and the crew rations. So I'll definitely put the gun rotation, because basically now I've got a choice here. I'm just going to look at the maneuverability. So it's acceleration, it's maneuverability. What do I go for? And if those are both good, then maybe I could go for well, actually there isn't a lot else to go for really. And what's its concealment? So its maneuverability isn't bad. So looking at this, I think that third slot's pretty safe, and that second slot we'll hold it in reserve for the right time. Okay, then there we go. We've got a fully kitted out Gallant. And that middle slot, I'll play a few games without worrying too much about that middle slot, because basically, yeah, I'll find out how the ship plays. I do remember having played the Gallant on the premium, not on the premium account, on the press account, that it does have these single fire torpedoes, and I know with the Acasta that I've got at tier 5, it has a lot of single fire torpedoes. Anyway, there is the Acasta, ready to go, all kitted out with its camo on, ready for a first battle, which is coming up now. Okay, so this is the Bay of Storms. Looking at it, we have a Farragut on the enemy team, which I'll probably outspot. I'm hoping that it's balanced matchmaking with the Farraguts on the other side. I can spend a lot of time doing torpedo runs against cruisers and battleships, particularly battleships. Okay, what I'm going to do is accelerate out the front and do some spotting, because I'm actually quite capable of spotting. I have smoke, I have good concealment, and I have relatively good maneuverability. Look at that wiggling just going on there. Torpedo arcs are mediocre. Okay, then I'll have to be the first one to admit that. Now I'm going to head in. Now, don't want to get too close to that point of land, because things can spring around the edge there. With good concealment, with really good concealment, open water isn't too bad, as long as you know what you're doing, you've got some spare smoke, and you know how to manage manage your risks, because basically your concealment's good. And there have been games where I've been pretty much open water, just it's less of a destroyer and more of a U-boat. Okay, then there's the Farragut. He's probably going to spot me before too long. What are we going to do with him? I'll put one in the water there. Now, I'm actually launching that not because I really expect to hit him, and I should have given a bit more lead. It's always the case. Or maybe not. No, he's turning away. We're forcing him to turn away. But launching one means that when I launch my torpedo single fire, they will all guaranteed come off the same rack. So essentially what that means is that normally what happens is if you have single fire and you have 2 full racks, then you are actually having to fire all 8 torpedoes, otherwise you get racks hung that don't reload with 1 or 2 torpedoes in them. As you can see, so I've got one rack that's half reloaded, the other rack goes out, so the first rack will reload, and I'll be able to do the... so essentially it's like having 4 torpedo launchers instead of 8, but ones that reload in about 23 seconds. That's probably the better way of looking at it. So it's the effective way I'm using these torpedo tubes, which is... well, they almost hit simultaneously. That's good. What have we got here? We've got Mr. Farragut. His guns certainly beat mine. Mine have a really slow reload, and they're not that powerful. So this is not a gunboat. It's a... yeah, someone tell me what it is. Okay, then I've decelerated... Well, it decelerates real quick because I threw it in reverse. He's getting quite badly sprung. We're going to fire some torpedoes in. Just really to clear them out. In fact, look at our turning capability. We're very capable of turning and keeping those, tracking those torpedoes almost in. Here comes a Leander. Okay then, so I puff some smoke because that Leander is ruthless with his guns. Fire torpedoes in his path. He's obviously busy on the gun controls, not on the steering controls, and basically that costs him cost him the battle. And our good old Duke of Gloucester went in with the SAP and knocked down the last of that destroyer, opening up this flank, and there we go. So we are 7 ships to 5 ships. We can't see a lot of their ships. I can see an Omaha here. We've got a battleship over off to the right somewhere. The rest of those ships, the other 3 of those ships, will be driving up our other flank, and our other flank is absolutely open. So I have to get around whatever it is. I'm scraping the paint off this battleship because it didn't need any paint anyway. Just look at that camo. That absolutely has to be stripped off by someone, so I've decided to do it. But actually what I'm trying to do is I've realised that I need to get into that cap, because those ships on our other side are going to grab our cap, and if we're not flipping their cap before they're flipping our cap, then there's a good chance that they could accidentally win. The paint on the other side needs to be dealt with as well. Absolutely terrible paint job. Just needs to be scraped off completely, both sides of the ship. Bearing in mind I've probably got nothing else to torpedo, might as well let them have it. And we'll, oh, look at that, nice fire. I do have a mission to light some fires, so it's good to see. But yeah, well, there's just way too much firepower coming in against him. Very good job of defending the cap. Final torpedoes off against the battleship who had turned in, and I'm flipping the cap before they've arrived, which means that they can't, unless someone returns, they can't win by flipping the cap. We're denying that path to victory for them, which means that either they have to kill more of us than them, which is going to be difficult, 7-3, or they have no path to victory. So nice and simple. I'm going to move out to the other side of the cap. Now actually what I was doing here, I think, is probably something that's not recommended. I was playing the game one-handed while drinking a cup of coffee. I was just passing time. So anyway, So what's happened here is, yep, they've started flipping ours. We've started flipping theirs. They've got 1-2 ships inside the cap. They're starting to contest. Our guys are starting to contest it. All one of our guys needs to do is park himself inside that cap and basically last about 10 seconds, and that's enough to win the game. Because what it'll mean is that we'll guarantee there's no contention for this cap. They'll guarantee that cap because we can see anything coming. Right? I've got with the Farragut gone. I've got the best concealment in this game by far. There's no way they can sneak up on this cap. I have a lot of backup firepower. So, yep. So if one of our ships gets inside that cap, then they're done. But actually, they're done. And it seems, and tell me if they're wrong, that a cap flips faster the more ships that are in it. And I think we had more in the cap. So there goes the Gallant at its best. It can be a bit of a struggle if you end up in a, protracted gun duel with another destroyer. But it is a nice ship. I'm glad I've got it. Yeah, it's just a nice little destroyer. So not the greatest damage dealer, but it's quite sneaky. It's quite agile, and the torpedoes do require a bit of management. But with the right management, well, let's see how it goes. I'm just learning that management with the caster anyway. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.